about roads, and everybody wants to complain about roads.
Yeah.
And Anderson County has 1,534 miles of roads just belonging to the county, not even counting the other roads. So tell me a little bit about how y'all choose which roads to work on and what the challenges y'all face are in taking care of these roads.
Yeah, so definitely, yeah. Like you said, we do have a little over 1,500 miles of road. So we have a management system that all of our roads are in our cartograph system, and we have staff that go out, and about every 3 to 5 years we try to assess our roads and put a condition index on each road. And then when it comes time we do get some money, we can look through our system and kind of see where priorities are. What we don't want to spend all of our money on the failing roads that could cost $800,000 to fix. We put our money on some that, to keep them from getting to that point, we will do some stuff to keep them from going lower.
And those are the categories, is the ones that can be repaired and the ones that are just too far gone to.
Yeah, so the index will go, well, failing is of course failing, and then it actually jumps up to a poor condition, and then you'll have a good condition, and then you'll have a fair condition and an excellent condition. So there's different categories there. And when we go out, certain, if it has so many potholes or alligator cracking or block cracking, everything that we look at has a score. When we put it in our system, when we do an inspection of that road, anytime they note something, it calculates it in our system, and that'll give us an OCI is our overall condition index. And so when we pull all that out, put it in Excel, and that's how we come up with our paving list. Without having a lot of money to pave roads, of course, we have to try to be smart and stretch it where some you just have to go do. You have to. So we are able to go and ask for that money, and thankfully county council gives us that money to go do those emergency type repairs.
So it looks like until about 25 years ago, nobody had thought to put aside any money in the state or the county or anywhere else for roads, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So things hadn't been worked on then.
Since they turned the old farm roads, the old dirt roads, and they decided to put pavement on them, and a lot of those we still have today, and we have a lot of gravel roads still in Anderson County that we maintain, and those people that live on those roads would love to have those turned to asphalt. A lot of our roads that are deteriorating are old farm roads, as everybody, and I try to explain that. Why is my road falling apart? And I said, well, it's pretty much an old farm road that got 2 inches of asphalt on it, and this is, without putting money on it, that's what we got.
Nobody was thinking ahead of that.
Nobody was, no.
What impact does the weather have on your roads?
Oh, the weather is probably one of our biggest impacts, especially the cold, rainy season we've had in the last 2 months. It's rained, I feel like, nonstop. Once that water, it'll find any crack it can find. Once it disturbs that sub-base underneath the asphalt, that's when it starts showing through, and that's the worst thing for a road is our weather. Rain, water is and then when it gets cold and it freezes, we had, a couple there at Christmas time, we had those single digit, when it freezes, any water in there, it freezes, it busts it out, and that's the potholes that we get, and so we're fighting that.
Then summer heat.
Yeah, summer heat. The heat's more of a oxidating and just the heat element on it. It loosens up. It's just when it heats the makeup of the asphalt, and then when you have these big heavy trucks that are on them, and it pushes the asphalt. Once it kind of comes more of a little bit looser, I guess. Kind of once the asphalt in the rocks heats up, it starts moving and rutting, and that's where our edge cracks start falling off on the edges. And so, yeah, the weather, hot or cold, but the cold and rain is what gets us the most.
And then we've got a tremendous growth in population, which means traffic's increasing. What are the big? I guess the trucks put a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, I would, of course, the heavier trucks. We're definitely growing residential, but with our economic development has blown, our commercial industrial is going crazy, and those big trucks are just all farm roads that I was talking about can't handle that, and that's what we're looking at when we do address these roads. We have to build them to handle that, so that costs more money to. It's not just you can pave over a road; you have to reconstruct that base to be able to handle. If not, we're just going to be in the same, 10 years down the road, we're going to be in the same predicament with roads failing again. So.
And repairs are year round, right? You're doing repairs.
Yeah,
just constantly.
Constantly, yeah. That's our budget is maintenance. That's what roads and bridges. That's what I have a dedicated 8-man asphalt crew. They constantly doing potholes. We do driveway aprons, but mostly our potholes and what we call a strip patch. If it's a larger area of the road that needs to be completely cut out, we do those. But yeah, we do that year round.
And when's the paving season when you actually pave?
Our paving, the paving season is predicted by the weather. It has to be a certain degree and rising to do paving. Usually around March is really when you would say they do allow it in the, if you can get a warm, like today in February, it would be 70 degrees. They do have a winter weather plan you can get, but usually around March to right around October would be, I would say, a true paving season. Yeah.
If the funding were available to fix all the roads, how big of a crew would you need?
So here's the thing: we don't actually pave roads internally. We contractors. That's our problem we're finding now. If I had the money to do it, I don't know if I could find the people, the contractors, to do the paving right now, because there's so much money out there from the federal and the DOTs are focused on highway paving and bridges, and so the big contractors in the area are focused on that. We could get some of the smaller ones to do our work, but even I don't think they have the resources to do. So if I had the money, that would be our issue, is finding contractors to do it. But if I had to do it internally, I would have to add a whole nother paving crew to keep my maintenance side going, and then I would have to hire another probably 10-man crew to do that pavement, plus additional equipment to actually do that. Yeah.
Have you seen the cost of materials and stuff increase a lot lately?
Yeah, they hit when the supply chain went. The prices have gone up. I think we were paying $300 or $400 a ton for paving has gone up to like $800. So I mean it's doubled, or more. We are seeing those kind of drop back off a little bit, but I don't think we'll go back to the previous, or lower. I think there's a new standard now. And we're still having some supply chain. Some of those issues still are affecting getting paving done. So, yeah.
And people can, if they see problems in their road, they can report it on the county app?
Yes, we have so our app that we have in the county, you can report problems, is ACSC Gov. And you can do that, Android, Apple, download that. And that is not just a report a problem, that's a county app that you can find county events, that type of stuff, different departments. But the first thing that comes up is report a problem, and that's not just with roads, but anything that belongs to the county, but potholes, signs, any road issue, drainage, you can put it on there, and that comes straight to our department.
That helps you guys, I guess, find the stuff a lot of times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we get a lot. We get hundreds of those all the time. Some of them are, I would recommend that you create an account so that we can get in touch with you. Some people do those anonymous, and we have no way to reach back out. But so create an account, we can get back in touch and say this is what our plan is, what we're going to do. Even if we don't have a name, we can still respond, because it goes into our cartograph system, and when we can put a public comment, and we give them our next step of, hey, we can do this, we can't do that, whatever needs to be done. So yeah.
What does it cost to maintain a mile of road or repave or whatever? I mean, I know there's probably different prices, but what's the general cost if you've got a bad section?
A bad section. So we can do so like our strip patching. A strip patch may, depending on the size of the
Remind
depth.
people what that is.
Strip patching is it's not a pothole, but it may be a section, maybe a 20-foot section of road that's got some subgrade issues. The whole road's not bad, but there's just a small section that can be cut out. Maybe one lane even needs to be cut out and replaced. So that's a strip patch, is what we would call that. So those can be $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the depth and what's going. If it's a complete dig out and replace. And that's what we're leaning on doing now. That's what we have to do with our budget. That's our maintenance budget. We have the money to do those type of, but we're having more and more of those. So that budget's not going as far because our roads are slowly, well, they're in a bad shape, but they're going down. If we don't do something, that's where we're headed.
Yeah, that's what county council continues to remind people, that the roads really. What if you just had to repave a mile of road? What would that cost?
Just to overlay a road, you could do that for probably $400,000 to $500,000.
But if it had to be tore up and replaced,
It could go up to $800,000 to $1 million, depending on our new standard is we do like to try to widen if we can, just because of the larger vehicles we have on the roads these days and the big heavy trucks. We're, even if it's a foot on each side, without having to do a complete redo the ditches, move utilities, sometimes we can get a little bit. So those are the costs that we're, I think we've looked at it. We really need to be spending about $12 million a year just to catch back up. And we're currently around $4 million, and that's all coming from the C fund. That's not coming from county, but that's from the state gas tax that there is a piece of the gas tax that comes back through the C fund, and that is what we're using for our paving budget at the moment.
so hundreds of roads a year y'all are working on, and the people don't see it. They just haven't seen y'all out there. People are always.
We're out there. Yes, I say we're out there. We do some paving. It's not a lot, but we are working. We do a lot of maintenance. We can do 20, 30 potholes a day, and we'll do 20 or 30. We may get 40 in. It's just we try our best to. We purchase some new equipment to try to do a true pothole patch instead of just that throw and go. Which during the winter we do use a cold mix. It is a temporary solution until we can get hot mix, because asphalt plants don't typically run in the winter. A lot of people misunderstand. Y'all fill it and it comes right back out. Well, that's what it's designed. It's not a permanent fix, but we do know we're going to have to come back and cut it out and actually put true asphalt.
Takes the hole out of the road until you can get to it.
Exactly, it makes it safe for the user. Yeah, that's our main focus is to. So we really encourage people. We're out there every day. We have staff, but we don't see every pothole. So that's why we use our cartograph. They're time stamped. We know we got the call. Potholes are one of our top priorities, because for the safety of the user of the road, we try our best to do what we can.
And the app's the best place for people to report it.
That's the quickest, because when those come in on our cartograph, so the guys that are in the field, they have iPads. So when those come in, potholes automatically go to that crew. They don't come through the office and go here and go there. They go straight to the pothole truck. And when they see it, if they have a proximity setting, if it pops up and they're in that area, they fix it. So we've had people, I just put it in 15 minutes, 10 minutes later, I went to the store and came back, pothole was fixed, thank you. We have those stories, and that's why, because they use the app. But if you call the office, as soon as they put it in, it goes straight, but the app is an automatic pothole. So those type of stop signs that are down, you can put those in. Those are our top priority because of safety. Any road sign, that's our.
Let's talk about signs for a minute. I was telling you, I had noticed a lot of new and very well reflective signs. That's something that's a constant thing to keep up with too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's one of our biggest assets of the county is our roads signs. 30-something thousand signs we have. and a lot of those are road signs that.
Those big new green ones really do reflect well and show up well.
Yes, those are newer sets the regulations on. There's a manual that we have to follow to put up signs, and they give us the letter sizing and all of that. And we do inspect them for the reflectivity at night. You know, the crews go out at night sometimes periodically and look, and if they see them, we just put them in to replace. And so that's a constant. We have a long work order, and they just when they have not downtime, but when they're in between projects and doing other things, or overtime that's needed, that's what we do. The guys they're constantly making signs. They have them stacked up, and then we just go put them in. So.
And I guess that people can find out more about all you are working on at your website, right?
Yeah, we could probably update that a little better. We do use our social media to put out a lot of our projects. And
Facebook, best place to look?
Facebook would be your number one through the county's Facebook. Public Works also has one. That would be your best way to find our projects. I can say the SCDOT has a project viewer app. If anybody ever wants to know anything the DOT's got going, they have a fantastic project viewer, just DOT project viewer, and it tells you any project that's been funded and ready, they're working and all that. I wish the county could have something of that nature, but we don't have as much going on as far as paving and bridge projects and.
I guess y'all work closely with them though, DOT.
We do. We have a good relationship. We have to, just because of it, county roads, state roads,
The public doesn't know the difference after time.
They don't. And I could talk about that too. We can. So if you ever want to know, a lot of people call, is this a state road, county road? If you ever see a road sign and it has a C number up in the corner, it'll have C and a number. Those are typically county roads. If it has a S on it, still looks like a county road, but it has an S, that's a state road. Typically under that, it'll have a little black sign under it. It'll have S, that's their state number. That's how a lot of people don't know that. Sometimes it'll have a P on it. That's a private road. And then some of them will have in the municipalities, they all have their own little. Pelzer will have, sometimes you'll see a P in Pelzer, but that's a Pelzer road. Williamston has their own, they all have their own, but usually if it's a C, it's a county road.